Hi, this is MIcornus, Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. We are dealing with key principles of effective leadership. And I'm dealing with part three today, and I'm sure you've followed us from part one and two, and you've learned quite a bit out of that. And we have agreed that we want to deal with at least two principles a day, and today we want to approach it that way as well. We'll deal with two principles today, and I hope this will help you. On this platform, we're developing ordinary young men into extraordinary men of wisdom, integrity, and character. And we do this through kingdom principles. And I'm the founder and the leader of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. Now, the first key principle for effective leadership today that we want to deal with is that always gather input and make decisions, then take actions. Can I say this again? You need to gather input first, because there are times when we quickly rush to decisions. Sometimes we quickly rush to actions, and we rush to decisions, we rush to actions, and sometimes we didn't gather input yet. And I remember in the country where I am, and our president is always been accused of being slow to act. But I agree with him, because he always say, I want to gather input first. And that is effective leadership. Because effective leadership is gathering input before you even make decisions. When you are going to make decisions without gathering input, you're going to make what we call uninformed decisions. And uninformed decisions can actually destroy the great work that you've already started. Uninformed decision making can actually destroy your reputation and your character, and you may actually lose integrity of your leadership, because you are actually making decisions based on uninformed platforms or input. Now, you need to really gather input. You need to really search and find out what really happened before you make any decision about anything. So gather input from those that were there, from those that are knowledgeable, gather input from those that are experts in that type of an area. Well, when you have gathered input from different angles and stakeholders and people that are actually more well informed in that area, with the input that they can give, is the input that will help you, because you will make decisions very, very informed. There are some of the decisions that are legal decisions, and you might not be a legal person. Now, you're going to need to gather input from those that were there. Number two, you're going to need experts in that field, which is the legal field. And those experts will actually give you a better informed information that will help you to make decisions. And we want to emphasize that, because as the Young Men Empowerment Forum, we've realized that there are people that make decisions based on emotions sometimes. They make decisions based on how they feel at that particular time. And we want to warn you that key principles of effective leadership is ability to gather information, gather input. And when you get the input that is necessary, that will help you to make decisions. So you will make decisions, and those decisions will be informed decisions. Now, I want to also say that if you are going to become a person who makes decisions, you must be decisive enough, because we're having people that don't have even courage to make decisions. And you find that even when you've got input enough, you've got knowledge enough, people have shared with you the input that you've gathered, but you may still not be courageous enough. You may still not be decisive enough to make decisions from that information that we're given. So therefore, you need also a skill of decisiveness. You're going to need also the skill or a gift of courageousness as well, whereby you're going to need to be courageous. You're going to need to be decisive enough to make those decisions after collecting the input. But collecting input is very important, because you need to gather the input, and after gathering the input, have a courage and decisiveness that is enough for you to decide and make decisions in this regard. Now, the other thing is that after making decisions, action is very important. And we have seen in many instances where a leader has made a decision and announced it, but there's no action taken. And action normally is better when you take action yourself as a leader and become exemplary in action taking. And because many people want to do that which they've seen the leader doing. So don't actually point people the direction. Show them the direction by going to that direction, and thus becoming a good leader. And that is why we see the biblical times shepherds who were actually walking in front of the sheep. They were walking in front of the flock. And the reason behind that is because they wanted that if an enemy comes, the enemy should actually confront them first before they confront the sheep. So therefore, the same way that if you are leading people and you become a leader that is not decisive enough, you're going to have a problem. But after being decisive, sometimes you need to take that action first so that people can actually follow suit where you've taken an action. And this is very important as well. And sometimes we struggle to take action particularly in disciplinary matters, because we don't have courage, as I've said, and it could be because we are not decisive enough. And we are not having courage actually to take action in situations like that. And if you don't take actions in disciplinary matters, you are going to make the company worse or your situation worse, because nobody will be disciplined because you're not making an example of those that are indisciplined and don't take actions where actions are necessary. And that is very key that we emphasize. Now, the other key principle today that I want to speak before we go regarding effective leadership is ability to prioritize deep work over unnecessary meetings. Ability to prioritize the deep work and actual work, pushing the work instead of unnecessary meetings. Well, why are we discouraging this as Young Men Empowerment Forum? We're discouraging unnecessary meetings. It's because there are many people that make meetings a scapegoat. They spend the whole day, the whole hours in meetings, and they don't actually get to do the work. And we are encouraging, as Young Men Empowerment Forum, that the deep work should be prioritized. We must actually focus on the actual implementation than to hold meetings after meetings, speaking about plans and strategies. And at the end of the day, those plans and strategies are not being implemented. Remember that you can plan as much as you can, but plans are not going to articulate themselves. Plans are not going to be able to implement themselves. And when plans are not implemented, they will not bring about the results. And we want to emphasize that as Young Men Empowerment Forum leadership, we want to urge you that if you want to your leadership to be effective, so please let implementation be key. Let actions be key. Because most of the time we spend more time in meetings and speaking about how we're going to do things. And sometimes those plans become just those plans. And sometimes they're written down into files and files that gather dust somewhere in the archives, and we're not actually implementing that. And we want to encourage you as a young man who's a leader that please, if you want to be effective, encourage deep work and avoid a lot of meetings. And we want to urge you right now that as we're having also digital approach in meetings, so please reduce those meetings to fewer hours. And if a meeting needs only 30 minutes, so please schedule it as such. Don't schedule 1 hour while you basically going to have a 30 minutes meeting, because if you do so, you're basically distracting other people's programs, and people are not going to be able to apply or to action some work because they have actually prioritized a meeting that actually end up not even actually going according to the time that was initially scheduled. So it's very important to prioritize deep work and not only focus on unnecessary meetings. And I want to urge you to do that as a young man who's a leader. I want to end up here today, your host, MIcornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. As we say, we are busy developing ordinary young men into extraordinary men of wisdom, integrity, and character. And we're doing this through kingdom principles. And I hope that you are learning. This was part 3, and we will delve into part 4 tomorrow. But before we check out today, I just want to remind you of our social media platform. Of course, our Facebook page, Young Men Empowerment Forum, you can find it, and please like that page. And my personal Facebook page as well, MIcornus Phokane. So please like these pages, follow us on them. We're posting these videos not only for fun, but for empowerment of you right there, wherever you are listening to us from. And the good Lord will bless as you do that. And we believe also that you will subscribe to our YouTube channel under Young Men Empowerment Forum. So please make sure that you subscribe and click a like and notification buttons as well, and our Instagram as well. And we got also Instagram, we got also TikTok account, and all those under MIcornus Phokane. That's my name. And so please go there and follow us on those platforms as well. And what I will appreciate from you is when you start to share the links of these platforms with many other people, because this can help many as we teach on this platform. And we are going to also encourage you to make sure that you keep us informed, you comment under these platforms and let us know how we can improve, how we can teach you better. You can also suggest some topics that we can deal with that will be very helpful for you. And the good Lord will bless you as you do that. And I want to check out right here and say till we meet again with part 4 of this great topic. May the good Lord bless you and cheers for now.